Now we are entering the second part of Lesson 8. Now let's first look at the language points for the last two texts. The first language point is the preposition 在. The preposition 在 combines with words or phrases that indicate a location or place. Now we learn something new about 在, and that is this structure, we place it before the actual verb of the sentence to show that we do something in some place. Where does the action take place? So let's look at some examples. First example, 我在学校吃午饭. Okay, so if we count 在 as a verb, actually this sentence has two verbs. 在学校, the first verb, be at school. 吃午饭, the second verb, have lunch, eat lunch. But here, actually, 在学校 is not the actual verb. It's only the expression of the place where does the action eating lunch take place, at school. So look at this structure. 我在学校吃午饭. 在学校 the location is placed before 吃午饭, the verb, eat lunch. So that is also a difference from English. We place the location where the action takes place before the word for the action. Next example, 他爸爸在医院工作. His father works in a hospital. Also, 在医院 in a hospital, before 工作 work. Last example, 你在哪儿买菜? Where do you buy vegetables? Here is a very useful expression, 在哪儿?在哪儿? If you want to ask someone, where does she or he do something? Where does this action take place? We will have to use 在哪儿. Alright, that's it for 在. Let's move on. The next word we are going to learn is 能愿动词. So the modal verb 能 is placed before the verb to indicate the ability, the condition, or possibility of doing something. So 能 can be easily translated into can or be able to. And we will probably remember that we have seen one word before that also translates into can or be able to, and that is 会. So what is the difference between 会 and 能? Actually, there is an important difference. So we learned before that 会 is to be placed before a verb that expresses a skill you acquire through learning. So for example, speak Chinese, play the piano, swim. More than can or be able to, I think 会, if you can translate the sentence into I know how to do something, he knows how to do something, we can use 会. But 能 is much more general. So basically, if you in English, you can say someone can do something, you can use 能. Much more general than 会. Let's look at some examples of 能. First example, 下午2点你能到吗? Can you arrive at 2 p.m.? So here, arrive at 2 p.m. is definitely not something you have to acquire through learning. You just arrive because you have the time and you can make it. So it just talks about the conditions. Next example, 爸爸能去, father can go. Again, it's very general. It just says father can go. The last example, 我不能去学校吃午饭. I can't go have lunch at school. Also not something you have to acquire through learning. So these three examples, we cannot replace the 能 with 会 because they are not things we acquire through learning. Wonderful job. Let's dive into the new words of the text 2. First word, 在, 在. Next word, 学校, 学校, school. Next word, 书店, 书店, bookstore. We explained before that 店 is the word for store, so any kind of store, we just have to add the thing that they sell at first and then add 店. 前, 前, front or in front of, we explained it before. 能, 能, can or be able to. 到, 到, arrive or reach. 午饭, 午饭, lunch. We learned the word for 中午, which is noon, in lesson 7. So we take the 午 of 中午 and we put it with 饭, which means meal or food, and we get lunch, meal of the noon, 午饭. All right. We will listen twice to the text 2 and we will have to answer these questions. Question 1. 黄咪咪和李菲菲在 A. 家里见 B. 书店里见 C. 书店前见 Question 2. 李菲菲下午 A. 2点能到 B. 2点半能到 C. 3点后能到我们在哪儿见呢？
在学校书店前见吧。
好的，下午2点你能到吗？
我能到，我在学校吃午饭。
我们在哪儿见呢？
在学校书店前见吧。
好的，下午2点你能到吗？
我能到，我在学校吃午饭。
Alright, so the correct answers are C and A. 黄咪咪和李菲菲在书店前见。黄咪咪 and 李菲菲 will meet in front of the bookstore. 李菲菲下午2点能到。李菲菲 can arrive at 2 p.m. Did you understand the text? Did you get the answers? Alright, here you go. You have the complete conversation. If you have any further questions, please leave it in the comments. With no further ado, let's dive into the new words for the last text. First word, 饭. 饭, meal. We actually have talked about 饭 a lot before, so we learned 做饭, which means to cook, and we learned 午饭, which means lunch. Next word, 大. 大, big or large. So we learned just before we learned 小 for small and little. 病人 patient. So the two 汉字, the first 汉字病 means ill, sick or disease, and the next 汉字人 means person, people. Next word 多 many or much. Next word 医生 doctor. And we learned before that 医院 is the hospital. Next word, 李医生 This is not really a new word. It's just 李, the surname of 李菲菲, plus 医生, the profession of 李菲菲, doctor. Family name plus profession as a respectful way to call someone. So 李医生 is Dr. Li. In the text, we will also see that the elder doctor calls the younger doctor 小李, literally the small Li. It's also a very common way for people older than you or more experienced than you in China to call you by 小 plus your family name as an informal way to call you, especially between co-workers. The last word, 工作, work or job. Great. Now let's look at these two questions. We will listen twice to the text 3 and then we will have to answer these questions. First question, 大医院里 A. 人很少 B. 病人多 C. 医生不忙 The next question, 李医生家有 A. 一个医生 B. 2个医生 or C. 3个医生小李还没吃饭呢。
没吃呢。
大医院病人多，医生非常忙。
是的，我爸爸也在医院工作，他也非常忙。
你家有2个医生？
对。
小李还没吃饭呢。
没吃呢。
大医院病人多，医生非常忙。
是的，我爸爸也在医院工作，他也非常忙。
你家有2个医生？
对。
Perfect. The correct answers are B and B. 大医院里病人多。There are a lot of patients in big hospitals. Next question. 李医生家有2个医生。There are 2 doctors in the family of Dr. Li. Wonderful job, guys. Now you have the whole conversation. Look at the conversation, and we have actually 2 bonus questions for you. The first bonus question is, 李医生的爸爸在哪儿工作? Where does the father of Dr. Li work? You can answer it with maybe 李医生的爸爸也在医院工作。李医生的爸爸也在医院工作。The father of Dr. Li also works in a hospital. Second question. 李医生的爸爸工作忙吗？李医生的爸爸工作忙吗？ Is the father of Dr. Li busy with his work? This is a yes or no question because it ends with 吗 So you probably can answer. 对，他很忙。Yes, he is very busy. Okay, so that's it for the new words and the new conversations. Now let's do the comprehensive exercise of the vocabulary as always. Let's look at the 5 new words. A. 哪儿 Remember the has to be united with the second last word, 哪儿 right. B. 在 the word to express location. You put before and location. C. 桌子 table. D. 书店 bookstore. E. 能 can or be able to in general. Take as long as you want to finish this exercise and then continue to look at the answers. 1. 李医生的爸爸在医院工作。The father of Dr. Li works in a hospital. 2. 我下午2点能到学校。I can arrive at school at 2 p.m. 3. 陈鹏鹏，小猫在哪儿呢？白芳芳，小猫在桌子下。Where is the cat? Where is the kitten? The kitten is under the table. 4. 白芳芳，我们去书店，你去吗？李菲菲，我现在有事，不能去。We'll go to the bookstore. Do you go? Will you come? I'm occupied now. I cannot go. All right. Did you get them all right? 100%? Very nice. Very good job, guys. Now we are at the end of lesson 8. We have 4 pictures and we have to describe them with the words we learned in this lesson. The homework will be reviewed in the new video of lesson 9. And at the very end of the video, we have provided you guys with the Hanzi Chart of lesson 8. We highly recommend you guys make a screenshot of every Hanzi Chart of every lesson. So at the end of 15 lessons for HSK 1, for example, you will end up with all the complete information for the Hanzi of the exam of the 3.0 new standard course HSK level 1, which will be very convenient if you want to review before taking the exam. Okay, guys, that's the end of lesson 8. See you in lesson 9. 再见。